Now, if I'd have passed him up, I would have arrogantly said Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant player ever. Don't ever ask me the question again.
Over the years, the NBA has produced some of the most dominant athletes in the history of pro sports. Two players who are always mentioned when the word dominant is brought up would have to be Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal. Both players had incredibly successful careers, but when it comes down to it, who was truly more dominant? In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into the careers of Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal, comparing their statistics, accolades, and the impact on the game of basketball to see if that gets us any closer to an answer. Wilt Chamberlain, also known as the Big Dipper, is widely considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He played for the Philadelphia Warriors, Philadelphia 76ers, and Los Angeles Lakers during his 14-year career. Chamberlain was known for his incredible size and athleticism, standing at 7'1" and weighing 275 pounds. He was a dominant force on the court, averaging 30 points per game and 23 rebounds per game during his career. Chamberlain also holds several records, including the most points in a game, 100, the most rebounds in the game, 55, and the most rebounds in a season, 2,149. Not to mention a 4-time MVP, a 13-time All-Star, and a 2-time champion. The kind of numbers Wilt put up are simply too ridiculous for today's fans to even wrap their minds around. The fact that he averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds in a single season doesn't even sound possible, but Wilt did it. Shaquille O'Neal, or as most call him, Shaq, is another player who is considered one of the most dominant to ever step foot on the court. He played for the Magic, Lakers, Heat, Suns, Cavaliers, and Celtics during his 19-year career. Shaq was most known for his size and physicality, standing at 7'1" and weighing 325 pounds. He was a dominant force in the paint, averaging 23.7 points per game and 10.9 rebounds per game during his career. Shaq was also a 4-time MVP, a 15-time All-Star, and a 4-time champion. Other big men feared him, and he took full advantage of it. Both Wilt and Shaq were incredibly dominant players over the span of their careers, but there are some key differences that set them apart. One of the biggest differences is in their rebounding. While Shaq was a dominant force in the boards, he only averaged 10.9 rebounds per game. Wilt, on the other hand, averaged 22.9 rebounds per game. Another key difference between the two players is the era they played in as well as the teammates they had through their careers, since I feel they are connected. Chamberlain played in an era where there was only 8 teams in the league, making it much harder to win a championship, but easy to dominate on any given night. Shaq got to play with other star players like Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade, while Chamberlain often had to carry his teams on his own. But considering the skill gap for players from the 60s to the 90s and 2000s, I like to think of it as a wash. Wilt dominated in an easier era. Shaq dominated with better teammates. Despite these differences, both Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal had significant impact on the game of basketball. Chamberlain revolutionized the game with his size and athleticism, proving that big men could dominate the game. He was also one of the first players to use his size and power to play above the rim, paving the way for players like Shaq, Dwight Howard, and Joel Embiid. Shaq, on the other hand, helped to popularize the game during the 90s and 2000s, using his larger-than-life personality to become one of the most recognizable athletes in the world. He also helped to popularize the Hacker Shaq strategy, where teams would intentionally foul Shaq to try and disrupt his game. This strategy eventually led to the NBA changing the rules to limit the number of intentional fouls the team could commit. It is worth noting that both Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal had their own unique styles of play that set them apart from others. Wilt Chamberlain was known for his incredible speed, agility, and jumping ability for a player his size. He was a dominant force in the paint and was able to score in a variety of ways, including post-ups, putbacks, and even mid-range jumpers. He was also a strong defender, averaging an astonishing 8 blocks per game during his career. On the other hand, Shaquille O'Neal was known for his size, strength, and physicality. He was an imposing force in the paint that was able to overpower smaller players with ease. He was also a skilled passer and had a good touch around the rim. He was known for his Shaq-Fu spin move, which was nearly impossible to stop. Additionally, both Wilt and Shaq faced some criticism during their careers. Chamberlain was often criticized for his lack of playoff success, despite his incredible regular season statistics. He only won 2 championships during his career, and many felt that he should have won more given his dominance during the regular season. Shaq also faced criticism for his lack of playoff success early in his career, despite his impressive regular season statistics. He was often criticized for not being able to lead his team to a championship despite his dominance in the paint. However, both players eventually proved their critics wrong by winning multiple championships later in their careers. Wilt Chamberlain led the Philadelphia 76ers to a championship in 1967, while Shaquille O'Neal led the Los Angeles Lakers to 3 consecutive championships in 2000, 2001, and 2002. This proved that both players were capable of leading their teams to success when they had the right supporting cast around them. In addition to their unique styles of play, both players had a significant impact on the league off the court. Wilt Chamberlain was one of the first players to use his fame and success to become a businessman and entrepreneur. He was a trailblazer for future players who wanted to build their own brand and business ventures. Shaquille O'Neal, on the other hand, was one of the most marketable players of his era, thanks to his personality and sense of humor. He was known for his catchy nicknames such as Shaq Diesel and the Big Aristotle, and was heavily involved in the entertainment industry, appearing in movies, music videos, and even hosting his own television show. In conclusion, Wilt and Shaq are easily the most dominant players to ever play the game of basketball. Their unique styles of play, dominant stats, and off-court impact set them apart from other players of their era and cemented their place in the pantheon of the greatest basketball players of all time. When it comes to choosing who is more dominant, the edge has to go to Shaq. He dominated in the modern era, won more championships, and was constantly giving the league headaches on how to limit his physical dominance. The problem was there was no answer. He was simply bigger and stronger than everyone else in the league. Thanks for watching. Let us know who you think was more dominant down in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more NBA content.